I think number one is remember it's not going to be easy. Just expect that. It's not going to be easy. I think once you have that as an expectation, it actually helps a lot. Number two is always remember gratitude. Count your blessings. Count, what you are thankful for, what you have achieved. Celebrate the small wins. Thank God about it.
Just wanted to say thank you so much for still being here after a couple of seasons and more seasons to come. So make sure you comment, share, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's continue with the video. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? You're now watching Kinetic Outcome, and we are with Amy Tsien, who is the CEO and founder of Eve Bliss. As you can see, the products are here. And of course, with the further introduction, I'll leave it to her. But we're going to start with where you were born and how did you get to where you are now?
Thanks, Hector. Okay, well, hi everyone. I'm Amy, as Hector has shared. I was actually born in the States, in San Francisco. I moved back when I was a kid, when I was around 4, I think. And then I actually went to local school here, studied, in a very traditional Hong Kong way. And then I moved away to England to further my studies in high school. And then college, I went back to the States, worked in New York for a few years, and then come back because my mom is here and home is here.
Yeah, you were doing merchandising, right? Then you switched into branding for a wellness brand. Like, how did you transition to where you are now?
Actually, funnily, I might have to trace back a little bit. One of my first internships is in PR. I worked in that for many, many months, actually, and I've always loved, the marketing, the PR world. I think it's important to get the word out there, so that was kind of where that branding part stemmed. And then with merchandising and the planning part, I guess that kind of was by chance because I've always been in retail. And then my last company was in a startup, in a wellness startup. So we imported products, health products from Japan to Hong Kong, and that was when I was the brand manager for that startup. I think that was where I really got my hands on everything, whether it is logistics, whether it is branding, whether it is building a website, buying the products, talking to the suppliers, visiting the fields. That was where I learned a lot. And I've always had my boss then to thank to trust me in it.
Okay. So did you take a break? Then this started? How did it happen? I'm curious about that part.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't. I overlapped for a bit. I actually pitched the idea to my boss at the time if we would like to, kind of invent our own product instead of just importing. And obviously it's a very different business model. And so that was when he was like, you know what, if you believe in it, go for it. I will, fully, endorse that you do that on the side. It's totally fine, in which I did. Until at one point I realized you actually can't do two things at the same time. Like your mind, your body just needs that kind of focus. So that was when I took a leap of faith and went full in. So I started a bit of, curating the idea, talking to some suppliers whilst I was still at my last job. But when I decided on actually full on manufacturing this, that was when I, left and went full on into Eve Bliss.
Okay. And how did it happen though? Like you funded everything?
I did. Okay. Just from working, over the years, a little bit of friends and family, very small support here and there. But yeah, I'm the sole founder and I funded the entire thing. So keeping the costs low is a very, very big part of this business. Initially, literally, it was just me. And then I had one intern / part-time. We did everything, whether it is a 3 days event, whether it is, talking to suppliers, whether it is building the website. We did it on our own at the beginning.
Okay, that's really interesting. Then you just distributed more to different channels. Then now you have 4 in a team?
Yeah, we now have 4 in a team, part-time plus full-time. I started off as e-commerce. Really, really focusing on the direct B2C, getting the word out there at the beginning. And then slowly, actually really it's this year when we started to pitch more B2B. It's not easy because it's a small company. I don't have a large budget for marketing in terms of, even digital marketing or doing any offline advertisements. Don't really have the fund for that. But what we do is we try to participate in as many events as we possibly can. Word of mouth, talk about it all the time in every opportunity we were given. Social media, Instagram. So yeah.
Okay, so what makes you unique in terms of your approach?
I think a lot of times when you start a beverage brand, especially, your main focus would be getting into as many stockers as you can, and then minimizing the cost and minimizing the product costs specifically to keep the margin high. I personally believe in building kind of a community around it instead. I know it's a bit of an unusual approach for beverage entrepreneurs, especially, I would say. Reason is I think it's more important that people know the mission and values behind my brand, believe in it, understand why I'm doing it, even down to like the ingredients of it, even down to the name of it. I want everyone kind of to know about that so that when they buy into the drink, it isn't a sudden random celebrity hype. So that's kind of what I did. Also, instead of mass going into all the different stockers, I want to go one by one so that myself and the team can really learn every step of the way how it works. How does it work in a supermarket chain? There's a lot of things to learn. Instead of just mass getting into everything, I feel like that would backfire. So I took it step by step. I think that's a bit different.
So if you find yourself in this clip, that means you're still watching the video. So thank you so much. Make sure you click that subscribe button. And also, when you're interested in videography services, make sure you hit up 𝘼𝙢𝙮 𝙏𝙨. Links and everything is in the description box, including myself, of course. I do financial advice. So if you need any help with insurance, retirement, got questions, anything else, just let me know. Feel free to reach out. So thank you so much. Let's continue. I do know that what's unique is the ingredients, right? Can you elaborate a bit more on that?
Yeah, so one of our key ingredients from the inside to out of our products is yellow, because our key ingredients is turmeric. Turmeric is actually a very rare ingredient that people put inside drinks because it's hard to dissolve. So that's one of the risks that we took. It took a long time to learn how to make the taste good, how to make things dissolve, how to blend in with all the different ingredients. So yeah, so turmeric I think will be one of our key unique ingredient. It helps anti-inflammatory, antioxidating. It's a very great herb that's overlooked a lot of times. And of course, alongside, we also have our electrolytes. We have our vitamins, B6 and 12, to help people feel happier as they drink it naturally.
Okay, and you also have an alcohol version, right?
We do. We have an alcoholic version of it. So a lot of times when I first launched that product, actually, I hear people say, hey, if you are a wellness brand, you shouldn't have anything alcoholic. But my approach is that there are a lot of people who hear the word health products and kind of be like, that's not for me. I like my drinking. I like my partying. And that's fine. But for me, it's take it step by step. Take a little bit of a stepping stone, I would say. I'll use our product as a stepping stone. Have a healthier version of your booze, and you can still enjoy it that way. And then maybe slowly, you don't want the boozy version, you still want to feel happier. Say when you're at work, you can have our soda. So the whole brand is about creating stepping stones for people. I don't need you to drastically change. For example, some people say, hey, your drink is kind of like an energy drink. It replenishes your energy naturally with electrolytes. But I like my coffee. That's fine. Have your coffee, but maybe at your third cup of coffee, you will start to feel the jitters, or maybe even your second cup. Why don't you switch it? So we're kind of a companion to whatever that you're already having, but just make your lifestyle a little bit better.
Okay. So this part, let's elaborate a little bit on your challenges and what's rewarding in the process.
Sure. In terms of rewarding, I think number one is every time when I hear people say oh my gosh, I feel better after your drink. Even at where we met at the Louder event, actually, there's this very interesting customer came up. He bought 4 cans. I was like, whoa, you bought 4 cans? He was like, yeah, I tried one. I felt better. I need to speak to a lot of people coming up I need more. I want to, I normally would drink, but then I don't want to drink at this moment to network. So I love the product. So just seeing or hearing these comments makes me so happy. Like, it's so rewarding in that sense. Another thing is the team. I'm a very small company. There's only so much I can offer. But seeing them working so hard in it, and whenever they say, our brand is, X, Y, and Z, or like, our brand is amazing, or like, oh, we are different from other people. Just that word of we and our shows me how much they, really take ownership of this brand and their pride in it, their belief in it. I feel like that's one of the most rewarding part for me. Yeah, whether it's people from my team or community or ambassadors, makes me really, really happy. So that's a rewarding part. For challenges, there are a lot of challenges. I think we spoke a little bit about it earlier, like, you never know what to expect in your day. Whether it is a situation that suddenly blows up, whether it is, you can't control everyone around you, maybe something happened to certain people that you were about to meet, or maybe someone on the team is sick, but then we're about to do a huge event. It could be, obviously, I rely on different suppliers for the ingredients. There's a lot of external parties. So there are times when maybe certain ingredients not in season, or it could be that there's a delay in terms of importing the ingredient, and then we've lined up a manufacturing, like, what do we do in that situation? Harsh words. Obviously, there are people who like the product, there are people who don't like the product, there are people who like your brand, there are people who hate your brand. You just need to be okay, accept, learn from any of the comments, situations, cope with it. And one of my thing is I give myself about half a day. After that, I would maybe chat about this problem with someone, or even if I'm just diarying myself, and kind of laugh about it, laugh about the chaos, like how ridiculous that situation is. I think that helps a lot. But yeah, there are definitely a lot of different challenges. Even creating the product itself was tough. Yeah.
Okay. Let's say you had all the funds that you needed and you want to take your time expanding. What are the first few options in terms of location? Because I did hear that you did do Singapore, right? Is it only Singapore, or?
So, yeah.
If you were to expand, let's say.
Yeah. So right now we're focusing on Hong Kong, but Singapore, we kind of soft launched a little bit there. So we did very, very small events and collaborations with some influencers there at the time. And we will still, that is definitely still our next market to focus on. I think it'll be Hong Kong, Singapore, and then it'll probably be Japan and Korea and SEA. I still want to focus more on Asia first, to be honest. Reason being, one of our key products, elements of the brand is functional wellness, right? Functional wellness is already quite big in the West, but I feel like in Asia, people still are learning about it. So I really want to let more people about this alternative. So yeah, that's why I want to focus more on Asia first.
Okay. And in terms of people you look up to, it could be your family, could be anybody else, could be more than one. Is there anybody?
Yeah, I think my parents would always be the people I look up to the most, and also the closest people to me.
Okay. For the second last question, what tip would you give to people who would take the route that you took in terms of entrepreneurship, and also including the Christian faith?
I think number one is remember it's not going to be easy. Just expect that. It's not going to be easy. I think once you have that as an expectation, it actually helps a lot. Number two is always remember gratitude. Count your blessings. Count, what you are thankful for, what you have achieved. Celebrate the small wins. Thank God about it. Because a lot of times when, exactly what we just said, the challenges are you face so many chaos, so many, harsh situations, and you might get so wrapped up in it and forget all the great things that are, whether it is with work, maybe there are people around you that you're still very blessed with. I think that is something that I'm so grateful for my faith, that I can stay strong in that sense. And I can stay positive even when so much is happening. So I think as a Christian and as an entrepreneur to fellow Christians, or maybe believers for later, I think don't forget who you are and don't forget all the great things, even at the hardest times, and there will be hard times. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the last question is there anything to expect that you're excited about in the next coming few months?
Yes. So a lot of people have been asking, do you only have one flavor? I've been asked this question since day one. And as you can see that my approach is always, let's focus on one thing at a time. So I'm finally developing new flavors. So within next year, and hopefully first half of year, people can be expecting new flavors.
Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's about it. Amy Tsien and Hector Tamo, Kinetic Outcome. Pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Our aim is to provide value, so if you like what you watched, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'm also a financial advisor based in Hong Kong, so feel free to check the description box for my details and email or DM. And if ever you need video and photography services, the phenomenal videos you're watching right now are filmed by 𝘼𝙗𝙪 𝙠𝙤𝙀. Lastly, if you love hip-hop music, rap, R&B, singing, whichever that sounds amazing to your ears, because I always do a lot of experiments with it, feel free to drop by my channel at SCF Saint or Saint Crossfade. Appreciate you for being part of this episode and more to come. Till next time.